Now let's put the shape builder tool into action, okay? Here we have probably one of the most famous logos right now, the Twitter logo. And I want you to look at this logo and kind of how it's put together. It looks like a lot of kind of circles and cutout lines and everything. And it's not that every logo is done like this, but certainly a lot of the logos that you see nowadays are created by taking circles, like we have here, and combining them together and creating a series of shapes that you will use to create an image, okay? And so let me show you a few more examples of that. If you go on Pinterest, actually I have a Pinterest page that I'll put in the notes, and it's going to have a lot of these different logos. Let's zoom in a little bit. Here's just a picture I found it's on my logo page, creating the shark with a series of different circles and cutting lines out and adding lines in. So we're gonna do this real quick. Here's another logo that's created purely by combining circles, taking, the wing comes out of taking the part where these two circles overlap. This part is created by creating a circle here. And it's a really nice way to work on logo design, and you come up with some amazing logos like this. This shape of the squirrel was created by, a combination of circles and overlapping and deciding which ones they wanted to keep. And this cool bear here, I love this logo. Another series of just shapes that were combined, overlapped and created through, the same thing that created this Twitter logo. Okay, so let me just go through this real quick and show you how you would create something like this in Photoshop. The first thing that I'm going to do is lock this layer so I'm not touching it anymore, okay? So I'm going to click on the layer right here and lock it. And the rest of the layers are turned off, so they're not going to have any problems. You can also lock it right here, okay? So I'm going to lock that. Now I can't touch it. And I'm going to start with, let's say, I'm not going to do the whole thing, but I'll give you an idea of how I would do this if somebody wanted me to create something like this. Now, the first thing I want you to understand is you're obviously not going to be starting with the logo and tracing on top of the logo. The best way to create a logo is to start with a notebook and start doing sketches and just do one after another and just come up with different ideas and get everything down on the paper. All the ideas that come, even, dumb ideas that you think will become nothing. Work on tons of different sketches, and eventually you'll come up with something very, very simple. Maybe you can, and then after you get on Illustrator, you can keep, changing stuff, but you want to have some idea before you get started. So let's play with this. I'm going to do this in a different color. And up here, there's the option to change the opacity. Now, the opacity is how much you see of a layer. So the opacity right now is at 100, so you'll see 100% of the object. If I put the opacity at 40, there we go. So now I can see through it, and I can kind of see through to the bird here. Okay, I'm going to zoom in, so I'm going to hit Control+++. And let's just try to kind of match this object by, creating different circles. And I'm going to just delete that. And as I hold this, I'm going to hold the shift down so I get a perfect circle. So here is this part. That's pretty good. And as I'm doing this, remember what we did with the Nike logo. So it's just a different technique. I'm going to move that down. Okay. Now I'm going to put on the lock for that, and I'm going to create this part of the beak. So let's just create an angle for that. I guess it's a little smaller. And I'm just holding the shift key while I do this. Okay, it's not going to be perfect, so let's just get that in there like that. Okay, we get this guy, and I'm going to bring the opacity down to 50%. And now I'm going to hit Control minus to get a little bit bigger view. I'm going to make a larger circle for the top. Let's see, that's pretty good. Okay, now I've got a larger circle for the top. Bring the opacity down on that. And so what can we do? We can create a shape out of the combination of these two shapes. So basically it'll be this shape right here. You're not going to you don't have to worry about all this stuff that's on top of the circle. Okay, so let's just click this guy. We'll click these two guys. Okay, those two are selected. Now I'm going to go over to the Shape Builder tool, and I'm just going to click on Alt and click on this circle and this circle. And what do we have left? We have this shape here. Now let's put this back to 100%. Okay, there we go, our first little area. Now, I'm going to unlock these guys. Oops, I'm going to unlock the logo. I'm going to select these two, and now I'm going to go to the Shape Selector tool again, and I'm going to hit plus, I'm just going to drag down into the other one, and it should combine those two layers. There we go. Let me see. It didn't combine. Wait 1 second. Let me see. Plus, plus, plus. There we go. Okay, now it's combined those two layers. Now, if we want to go down, we can combine. We can do this guy, this layer. So let's go ahead and add another layer to draw on. To get this guy, draw another circle. And you're always going to want to work with circles if you're trying to go for this style, because it just gives it the right look. You don't want to do, like, you don't want to create a circle like this and just kind of barely get it in there, you know, like that. You want to create a perfect circle and do everything with perfect circles. Okay. Do that. 50. And let's do another one on top of that guy. And this one looks a little more flat. There we go. Put that down at 50. And let's pick this shape. Okay, so we're going to select these two circles. And once again, we're going to go to the Shape Selector tool. And we're going to hit Alt. Negative. Takes a second. Negative. And we have the perfect mouth. Oh, but what? We have a little problem here. What? This guy is sticking out over here. Okay. Well, it's not a big deal. All we have to do is we can go back to, we can select this and this, the circle. Let's turn that, this guy and this guy. So we'll put him in the circle in the same selection. Hit the Shape Selector tool, and we'll just delete that. There we go. And make sure that this is 100%. Okay, now we can just select this whole thing and hit Shape Selector. What's the Shift M? Okay, so if we hit Shift and M, we're going to get the Shape Selector tool. So let's just drag this over here. Make that into one big thing. There we go. All right. Now that's one big shape. Now we can keep going with this. We can make, you know, I'll make one wing real quick, or let me do the rest of this big part of the body. We can take this. There we go. Let's take this big part and turn that down to 50. Oops, it's not, there we go. And actually, you know what we can do that'll make it faster is we'll just do a copy of this shape. So I'm just going to hit Alt and drag, and then I'll drag it over here. And I'm not going to do this one perfect. Okay, so I'm just going to click these two. Oops. These two. hit the shape. We can do shape Shift M. There we go. Okay, I'm going to hit negative for that shape. It's going to take just a second. Negative for this shape. And now we're going to combine it with this guy over here. Could be a little bit worrisome right there, but like I said, we're doing this fast, so I'm not going to worry too much about it. It's not going to be perfect. Okay. Now let's select these two guys. Let's put this up to 100 again. There we go, 100. Select those two. And let's just delete this guy here. All right. And oops, let's select it again. And we're going to combine these two shapes. So let's just drag this through here like this. Drag that. Okay, there we go. See? I mean, it's ridiculously simple. And we could just make these the same way. So anyway, we're at 11 minutes, so I got to hurry up with this stuff. But that just shows you a real quick way. Let's get rid of that. Okay, now we've got the beginnings for our Twitter logo. And you can see how things start coming together just by building shape onto shape onto shape. And then, you know, once you get stuff like this, you can, let's say, for example, you want to put this as a white background, a white cutout in a different colored background. So let's create a square. And I'm going to make this kind of the same color as the Twitter so it looks right. Then let's put this on top of that. And you know what? It's always good to just make a copy of things. So I'm going to alt-click that and drag it over here. So we have our original right here. Okay. And I'm going to show you something that you can do real quick. Over here, you can just bump this on top on the layers, so this is on top. Or you can do arrange, bring to front. There you go. And we can cut this. Let's say we just want to have a white logo on a blue background. I'll select both of these, go over to the Shape Builder tool, hit Alt, and boop. Now we have that logo on a white background. Okay. All right, we're going to move on to the next lesson now. Thanks.